Today we're going to talk about how to add and subtract square roots. And it's actually a pretty straightforward process. So let's look at question number 1. I have 5 square root of 2 plus 4 square root of 2. And notice in each of these numbers I have two different parts of the number. I have the number outside the radical or the square root sign. I have the number inside the square root sign. So 5 and 4 are both outside my square root signs. 2 is on the inside for both. In order to add or subtract square root numbers, the number inside the square root has to be the same. If it is the same, we have what is called a like term. And then we can just add the numbers in front. So, these two are the same. They are both the square root of 2. I can therefore add the numbers in front. So I have 5 plus 4, which we know is 9. And then I add the square root of 2 on at the end. And so 9 square root of 2 is the answer to my first question. So pretty straightforward. Question number 2, I'm subtracting. And subtracting is the exact same thing as adding. Or we look for the exact same things, except we're obviously just subtracting. So look at question 2. I have 8 square root of 10 and 6 square root of 10. So when I'm subtracting, again, I want my numbers inside the radical to be the same. And if they're the same, we can subtract. So both of these are the square root of 10. So we can subtract these numbers out front. So we can take 8 minus 6, which gives us 2. And then since both numbers are the square root of 10, we add the square root of 10 on at the end. So 2 square root of 10 is the answer to number 2. Let's keep going here. Number 3. I have 12 square root of 11 and 14 square root of 11. So they're both the square root of 11. So I can just add the numbers in front. So I have 12 plus 14, which is 16. And I add my square root of 11 on at the end. Look at our last problem. I have 12 square root of 5 minus 12 square root of 3. So I have the square root of 5 and the square root of 3. These numbers are different. So we cannot add nor can we subtract that number. So for right now we're going to put not possible. So anytime you see two square roots and they each have different numbers, we cannot add or subtract them. And so that is how you add and subtract square root numbers. The second thing we're going to talk about today is how to multiply square root numbers. So if I look at my question number 1, I had the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. Now when we added and subtracted, the numbers inside the radicals had to be the same. That's not true in multiplying, or that does not have to be the case when we multiply. When we multiply, we're just going to multiply the numbers inside the square roots together and put that answer under your square root sign. So I'm taking the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. So I can take 4 times 3 and put it under the square root sign and get the square root of 12. That's it. We can do the same thing for number 2. I have the square root of 8 times the square root of 6. So I can take 8 times 6, put it under my square root sign, and then multiply. And this becomes the square root of 48. Now after you multiply, you got to see if you can simplify your square roots. So I have 12. So let's make a factor tree. We can break 12 down into 4 and 3. We can break 4 down into 2 and 2. So we have 2 times 2 times 3 can write that under our radical. If you remember bailiff or jail, if we have two factors that are the same, one cancels, the other one goes free. And so my answer now simplifies to 2 square root of 3. So you got to multiply your numbers and then simplify. Same thing with 48. We'll make a factor tree. 48 we can break down into 12 and 4. You can break 12 down into 4 and 3, 4 down into 2 and 2, and 4 again down into 2 and 2. Can put all my factors under our radical. I get 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Using bail for jail again. One of my 2's cancels. One goes free. I have 2 more 2's. One cancels. One goes free. My 3 is stuck. It has no other 3's to cancel with. So out front I have 2 times 2. I had the square root of 3 on the inside. So we get 4 square root of 3. So again, we multiply square roots, multiply both numbers together, and then simplify if you can.